Hey everybody, it's Peter, and this is the Ford F-150 Lightning, and it's not a truck. It's just not. So hear me out. I'm a big fan of this vehicle, and I have a long history with talking about EVs, and I used to be considered an expert in EVs before I made this video. I like this vehicle, but it's not a truck. And here's the problem with EVs in our marketplace right now. They all lie to you. Every single one of them. So you look at Tesla, for instance. They used to talk about autopilot when it wasn't autopilot. They talk about full self-drive when it's not full self-drive. And then Ford got into the game and created an EV which they called the Mustang Mach-E. And Mach is really spelled wrong because it's not a Mustang. They lied to you about it and we accepted it. And then we have this, the first production mainstream pickup truck available for sale. But it's not a pickup truck. This is no more of a pickup truck than I would be a hot dog if I dressed up in a hot dog costume. Sure, people would call me a hot dog and I look like a hot dog. But the key things that make a hot dog, I'm not that. Not in this picture. And that's the problem with this truck. This is a car. This is a really, really good electric car because electric trucks don't exist yet. And here's what I'm getting at. Yes, this is an F-150, and yes, it tows a lot of weight, but the thing is, people who buy pickup trucks, and I used to be one of them, they buy it for those few times they need a truck. And some people, it's not few times. Some people need a truck to do truck things every single day. I bought a pickup truck where 95% of my driving, this would be the absolute perfect vehicle. But the only reason I bought a pickup truck is because I had a camper that I intended to take across the country. And we did do that with our pickup truck. And that was the reason for owning the pickup truck. So for all of my driving, this would have been a better vehicle. But for the reason that I bought it, it wouldn't have worked. So there are a lot of pros and cons in having an electric pickup truck, but electric trucks don't exist yet. What this is a very, very cool electric car. So let's talk about that, and we'll talk about the pros and cons of truck ownership and talk about what Ford needs to improve on and be honest about moving forward, because trying to pass this off to a truck buyer isn't really what it's all about. This is a very good vehicle for some truck buyers, but it's a great vehicle for electric car buyers who want something that's more versatile. Let's talk about this as we review this vehicle in detail. So before I go too far, if you have questions about this vehicle or you're interested in it, so am I. And I'm going to come back to this vehicle again and again and again. And I can do that because I'm filming here at Jim Gilbert's Wheels and Deals. This is known as Canada's huggable car dealer. It's a great place to buy vehicles. They also happen to have a whole bunch of electric vehicles. Looking out here, we're going to do a Chevy Bolt tomorrow. That's number one, I believe it's the number one selling vehicle in the United States, electric vehicle. We have a couple Nissan Leafs over there. We have a couple Teslas over there. We have, there's a Prius Prime. There's other stuff over there. I drive a 4xe. I'm into electric vehicles, a Jeep Wrangler 4xe. So we're going to talk about this again and again and again. And again, even though this channel, you see me mostly doing motorcycles, I have a career built upon talking about EVs, and I want to know more. And if you're interested in this vehicle, you can compare it side by side with other EVs, including Tesla models, right here at Jim Gilbert's Wheels and Deals. And I have access to their entire product line, so that means I can come back and video it. And my goal here is just to make sure that you have the information that you need to make a great decision. Maybe this is right for you, maybe it's not, and that's okay. So we're filming here, like I said, Jim Gilbert's Wheels and Deals. Let's talk about this vehicle. First of all, when I say that electric trucks don't exist, a lot of time we look underneath a truck to talk about what it's made of. When you look underneath this truck, it is not an F-150. It is very similar construction to basically every other electric vehicle out there, and every other electric vehicle out there is a car. So they stuck a body of a truck on essentially a car platform that's been toughened up. And like I said, there's no question this is truck-like, but it is different. It's not really a truck. And really where people run into problems with this as a truck is towing. It does not have the range to tow large things, long distances, and a lot of truck buyers use that. But as far as everything else goes, being an electric vehicle, it does have advantages. So let's just start with the first advantage here. Let me just show you the key first. I'm gonna pull it out of my pocket. We can put it in right away. I want to make sure I show it to you though. There is the key. You can see typical Ford key, but you've got a couple differences here. Right there, if I double tap it, it's going to pop the Frunk. There's no engine in there, and that makes this truck really, really, really practical. Also, it's got a powered tailgate, powered up and powered down on the tailgate there. And of course, you've got the panic button right there as well. So what we're gonna do is start with looking at the Frunk, and let's talk about how this is great. And I double tapped it and it didn't work, so let's try that again. Oh, this is going well, Ford. Let's see if we can get this working for you. All right, I think I figured it out. You're supposed to unlock the car first and then double tap. So we'll double tap it now because it is unlocked. There it goes, it opens. The Frunk is kind of amazing in here because it's large. It can fit easily a person. Now, rumor is that this can take water in there. You can drain it out underneath here. So if things get wet, you can use it for truck-like things. But of course, most modern pickup trucks don't have this level of storage, this level of space anywhere. And what I like is, in my town here in Fredericton, New Brunswick, the Costco is right next to the Home Depot. You can put your Costco stuff in here and your Home Depot stuff in the bed, and that makes it a really, really practical electric car. Now you also have some onboard power. We're going to talk about that a little bit later. Actually, you know what? Let's just talk about it now. Let's adjust the camera over. We'll talk about it right over here. So what you're looking at is the passenger side of the truck here, and you've got a couple little things. There's some hooks in here that can sort of be set up and put away. Those work well to hold the cargo net, to hold grocery bags, to hold other things. And then over here is that power section. Now, a lot of vehicles have plugs in them. Most vehicles do not have plugs that work for real stuff. You know, you could charge a laptop, maybe you could, maybe charge a power tool. This is like having a generator on board in your truck. And this is the promise of future electric trucks, which of course don't exist yet. What this does is allow you to go camping and plug in your, essentially your whole trailer into this if you have a lightweight trailer, but all kinds of different things. You can power your tools, you can power all kinds of stuff, and of course you have this massive battery that you have access to. So when you see this on the Ford's Lightning, the Ford F-150 Lightning, you know that this is actually real power that can be used like a household plug to power real devices. That's the promise of a vehicle like this. Let's take a look at the tailgate as we move our way through the vehicle. All right, let's talk truck stuff here. So first of all, you've got traditional truck bed, traditional truck tailgate. We're gonna open it in 1 second, and it's F-150 stuff with a couple twists, which I like. Back here, again, typical truck stuff. You wouldn't know that this is an electric vehicle just by looking at it back here. You've got your regular trailer connections there, your hitch there. Depending on the equipment on an F-150 Lightning, it can tow as much as 10,000 pounds. Again, it can't tow it that far. Now, Ford went out of their way to talk about towing capacity because they knew towing would be an issue with a vehicle like this. They had it towing 1 million pounds in train car, which was also a lie. Train cars are designed with hitches that once you get the first train car moving, it kind of yanks the second car, momentum starts moving. So this thing can't tow 1 million pounds, but it can tow 10,000 pounds. And what that does is it allows you to take your boat to the lake, take it back from the lake, especially if that lake is in town. Towing longer distances, we talked about range. Range is an issue, and it may not be the right vehicle for you. In fact, it probably is not the right vehicle for you if you need to tow long distances like a regular truck. Now, what's cool about the tailgate is a lot of truck tailgates, they have the soft open tailgate, and we double tapped our button there, and you can see the tailgate comes down. This is typical stuff, right? It comes down. The difference is this is actually a powered tailgate, and when I'm done this section here, we're gonna put it back up, and you can see that that'll be power. So typical stuff here, you've got a ruler along the edge here, you've got little cup holders, at least on that edge there. You got a, instead of a spray-in bed liner, you've got the bed liner here. This is F-150 stuff. You also have power outlets back here, the same as you did in the front and the same as you have inside. So again, if you're powering things, instead of bringing a generator, you can power things from the truck. All of this is the promise of future electric trucks, which don't exist yet. But here, again, F-150 stuff. And if you are looking at an electric car, you can't deny that the F-150 is a super practical electric car. It gives you all kinds of space that you just can't get in anything else. You can take anything you want here, it can hold the weight, and we'll show you inside some cool little features that make unique. But back here, typical truck bed. Ford's got the typical truck bed with the step out ladder type here. This one's got that as well. And because we're done this segment, let me show you this tailgate going back up because it's pretty cool as well. It's not just a soft opening tailgate, it does go up. Now you may have seen some of the lights flickering a little bit on the edges there sometimes when it does things. That was just blinking, but if you saw them flicker throughout, there's LED lighting throughout this vehicle, so it does look fully modern. A couple other things worth pointing out back here, front and rear, you have parking sensors. We're gonna show you what they do inside. They're not just beepers, they also have a display attached to them. So we'll show you that. And of course, there's camera systems. Let's jump in the vehicle now. We're going to show rear seat really quickly, and then we're going to jump in the front and show some of the technology from an electric car perspective, but also from a truck perspective. All right, so I always do a back seat kind of test in every vehicle, and when I test electric vehicles, the one problem with almost every electric vehicle is when I get in here, my legs are not sitting flat on this bench here, and that's because the battery underneath usually raises the floor and you have problems. But you can see here with the immense amount of legroom that comes in every F-150 with the Super Cab here, you get immense amount of legroom and space and that kind of thing, and my legs sit flush on the seat. You can be comfortable back here for a long time because it's everything that an F-150 is. And you can easily pull up the seat there, and you can see, hopefully you can see, there's a flat floor in there. That's not exclusive to the Lightning either. That is a typical Ford F-150 thing, and that's good stuff. Let's just take you inside for a second to the rear seat before we take you inside to the front seat. All right, so this is what the F-150 looks like. We're gonna go wide angle. It's going to skew the view a little bit, but I want to do that on camera so you can kind of tell what we're doing here. As we go wide angle, you'll see a little bit more of the inside here, and there's good things in here. First of all, I always complain about the back seat pockets not being on the driver's side and the passenger side. Of course, you have that here. You also have a nice feeling cloth here. This one happens to be not leather. Cup holders back here, and the space back here is just crazy. If you've never been in an F-150 because you're a typical electric vehicle buyer, the rear seats in modern pickup trucks are amazing. They're huge. Down here you have your typical USB ports. That's USB-C and USB-A. Let's try to zoom right all the way in on that. There you go. You can see that there. And then of course you also have that proper plug down there, which allows you to plug in all kinds of things as well because you've got an electric vehicle. You do have vents back here. I believe this is a 12-volt port. I don't want to break it. Maybe it's not. I'm not sure. I think that's a 12-volt port right there. Let's go back over there. You've got vents back here as well. And let's just flip the camera around to show you the space back here. So I'm sitting here and you can see visibility is fantastic. The windows are low, but you sit high. It's my favorite back seat in any electric vehicle I've ever sat in because if you don't have a sweeping low roof line taking up space, I can have all kinds of space. I'm about 6 feet tall. And again, if you've never been in a modern F-150, the rear seats are nice. I get why people want these because you could take a dog back here. You got 3 seats across, just tons of space. It's very, very good. And again, the door panels here, you've got your cup holders right there. You've got extra space down here. You've got extra further space down there. So lots of storage in the door here, storage in the seats in front, cup holders. It's just a very, very nice place to be. And again, for an electric car, the best electric car rear seat I've sat in yet. Let's go to the front seat. All right, so approaching the vehicle, you've got typical Ford stuff. This isn't an F-150 Lightning thing. If you've been around Ford for a while, maybe Ford's new to you, they've been doing this since at least the 80s, where you can use a keypad, program in a keypad to hop in the vehicle without the key, which is a really nice feature. Of course, it's keyless entry, everything else. This one has the running boards down here. I don't know if those are options or not, to be quite honest with you. So it does have a little step to get in. These trucks are tall, and that's, you know, the step is helpful there. All right, down here you have good seating adjustments. Ford F-150 seats are large, comfortable seats. You can ride in these things all day, which is very nice. Lumbar adjustment there as well. You also have adjustable pedals. So whether you're tall or short, the pedals can come in and out. That's what this button here does there, which makes it very comfortable. So we're gonna go wide angle again as we jump in. Again, it will skew the view a little bit, but just want to be clear about what we're doing. So tilt and telescopic steering wheel here as well. You've got some really nice display screens. So let's, because it's an electric vehicle and we're outdoors, doesn't matter if we're outdoors, let's turn the car on. So first of all, oh, calm screen. I didn't realize it said calm screen there. I don't know if you saw that there. All right, you've got some nice display. Most electric vehicles are very good with their displays. You still have that Ford ding, ding, ding kind of beep, which actually kind of annoys me. I'm gonna, my jacket here, if you heard a zipper there, I'm just gonna make sure that doesn't hit my microphone as much. So what you have in here is typical electric vehicle stuff. Now this is the shorter range of the vehicles. So you can see overall range, 63%, 209 kilometers of range right now. I think it's about, well, it says 20 degrees on the truck, but that's not right. I think it was inside. I think it's about 15 or less degrees, probably 10 degrees or so Celsius in here. And so there's your range based on how it has been driving, based on a whole bunch of factors. So there's a lot in here that we can play with. But let's just jump over here for a second first. This is all typical F-150 stuff. Let's go wide angle one more time. And again, if you've been in an F-150, you've got your trailer brake controller down here. So again, you can plug your trailer in right away from the start. You've got your typical controls over here for all your Ford stuff, your smart cruise control. Basically, consider this to be a top line Ford as far as safety equipment. You've got all that built in. But let's go over here and show you some of the EV specific stuff that maybe not every video is showing you. So we're gonna go over to features over here. And we're going to talk about a lot of the things in here that make it pretty great. So drive modes, of course, every EV has drive modes, normal, sport, off-road, and a tow haul mode. Again, that tow haul setup, one pedal drive is turned on. So what that means is you can release the accelerator pedal. I used to call it a gas pedal, but now we can't do that anymore. Release the accelerator pedal and it can actually come to a full stop. Not every EV has that one pedal drive, and if they do, it doesn't always bring it to a full stop. This is top of the line stuff for an EV. Locking differential, it's a pickup truck type thing. You can turn it on or off there. It's electronic, of course. And then you've got a couple other cool things in here. So driver assistance stuff, all of your safety systems, and there are a lot, is all in here. So you've got a lot of stuff to go through there. You can sort of pause the screen to see some of those, but basically top of the line safety equipment and that kind of thing. Access, we'll worry about that on there. Pro Power on board. This is that system that I was telling you about really having a generator kind of built in. So it's drawing from the actual battery, and you've got all kinds of features and stuff in here. Make sure you have, okay, 30 kilometers left. It'll turn things off so you don't end up fully dead, but you can change that to whatever you want. And again, a 2400 watt inverter essentially. A lot of times they make what they call solar generators or battery generators. That would be, you know, sort of what this is. And that really gives you real power, which is a nice thing to have. You can turn it on or off there as well. So if you're having trouble accessing it, that's why. Zone lighting, towing. Let's just hit the towing thing for a second. All sorts of things with Ford's towing systems. Trailer sway control, trailer connection notification. All these things, you can check the lights, manage trailers, because you can set up everything here for multiple trailers. So again, for an electric car, this can tow a lot. It just can't tow that far that conveniently. You have to charge. We'll talk about charging in a second here. The other thing I like is the onboard scales are on here. This isn't on every new vehicle anymore, but again, you can carry about 2,000 pounds or so of weight, and it tells you how much is in there with everything else. It says about 150 pounds. That might be me. I wonder if I bounce a little bit. Oh, maybe it was moving just a little bit there. I don't know. But anyways, it does allow you to sort of get a sense of how heavy you are and that kind of thing, which is pretty cool stuff in here. So really great software. What I like about it is, unlike some electric vehicles, it's very easy to use and understand. It's going to be a small learning curve to jump into this vehicle and understand what you have. But once you sort of know how to work one section, you kind of know how to work every section. You can kind of see what's there. So it's well laid out, and it's, again, very good. Audio system, top of line audio system, Sirius XM, all the Bluetooth and everything. The other thing worth pointing out is you do have Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, which might be a thing because GM is rumored to be taking away Apple CarPlay from their EVs, which means when the Silverado comes out with as a competitor to this, you may not have Apple CarPlay, which I think is backwards. It would not be something you want to do. Other cool things in here, gear shift right here. This is just regular Ford F-150 stuff, but you can press this button here and the gear shift just disappears, and that's really handy because if we go wide angle, you can see that this armrest pops open and folds, and this is a hard and flat work surface. I can put my laptop here, I can eat my lunch here, I can do all kinds of things here, and that is really, really convenient for me. I quite like that. Again, you're offering things in this vehicle you can't get in other EVs, even though you can get it in a regular Ford F-150. So good stuff in there. Let's flip the camera around to me for a second. So let's talk about this as an EV and as a truck. First of all, you sit taller than any other EV I've ever sat in. That's a nice thing. You have great visibility. And the other thing is, like every other F-150, you have this dip down here. So you really have good visibility all around. We're going to show you some cameras in here before we're done, but let's talk about driving. Does this feel like a truck? It doesn't. It feels like a car. In fact, it feels like an electric vehicle. And that's because, like I said, underneath this, it really is. Now, what's interesting is Ford has talked about their trucks for a long time. They've made them quieter and quieter and quieter, more car-like. So this one comes out and it's the most car-like F-150 you've ever had, and that should appeal to some people. Quiet is a good thing for a lot of people. Quiet interior, comfortable ride, all of those things are there. Where this fails as a truck and as an EV is in that whole fact that it's an electric vehicle. So first of all, like I said, truck owners, a little more honest about themselves than maybe the EV marketers are. Truck owners know why they're buying the truck, and if you're buying to tow around your town, no problem. This is fantastic. You should absolutely buy this. There are a whole bunch of fleets. You know, think about the average city that runs their pickup trucks from within the city to do some road maintenance work, that kind of thing. These are perfect for that. They're doing slow speeds, lots of stopping, you know, driving around, and they can charge every night, and they're not towing trailers far, but they might be towing heavy trailers. This is perfect for that. If you are someone who is not so honest about your truck use, you say you need a truck, but you don't actually need a truck, this is probably perfect for you as well. It's really handy having the bed back there. I used to have a pickup truck that, like I said, I bought it only for towing long distances with my trailer, but having that bed back there made it one of the most practical vehicles I've ever owned, and it's really good for that. Where this fails as an EV is also worth mentioning. Because you have all these truck-like things in this, this is a heavy vehicle. It's not super aerodynamic, especially compared to all the jelly bean shaped EVs that are out there, and that can cause some EV issues as well. This truck doesn't charge crazy fast at home, and I shouldn't say that. It charges pretty fast, but on a level 2 charger, it's got a massive battery to charge. So when you think about the range of this vehicle, and you compare that to competitive range in an electric vehicle, this is moving a lot more vehicle, therefore it needs a lot more battery, which means it takes longer to charge. And I've heard stories of people saying, you know, it takes 20 hours to charge up from where they were. Well, that's no longer an overnight charge. So purely as an EV, most EV owners like myself, I own an electric vehicle and a 4xe Wrangler, which is a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. But on those vehicles, I can charge them overnight. They're both charged at my house. The majority of electric vehicle owners charge their vehicles at their home at night. And if you have a heavy day of driving in this, it's possible that at your home chargers, you won't completely fill up that battery, which means if you need to do a second heavy day, you could have a problem as well. That's something worth considering, and that's because, again, they're trying to add truck stuff onto an electric car platform, essentially, a really tough electric car platform. That being said, this is still one of my favorite electric cars. Let me show you some of the cameras in here and we'll get going. We'll talk about the outside, one final thing. Okay, so to get to the cameras, we're gonna just throw it in reverse. Easiest way to get to it. So first of all, you have a 360 camera. Now, this is good stuff. You have a good 360 camera, which you need in a larger vehicle, so it gives you the full view around, and of course, this is set up for backup camera. But check out what you can do. You can move from the 360 camera to just the oversized backup camera. Now, when you do this, you still have the parking sensors, which are known as the beepers. They will beep progressively quicker as you approach things, but see the grayed out areas here? Those will give you indications if those little sonar things see something. So while you're backing up, you have a clear, crystal clear view with a large screen, but you also have access to those beepers there, which can warn you if you happen to look away from the screen here. But this isn't all. You can look at things more. Get rid of your 360 camera, and you can look down the side cameras and the rear camera, and you can see that snowbank behind me. It is perfectly displayed, and so is the building. So even though it goes from backup camera to side camera in the mirrors to side camera over here, that snowbank is accurately portrayed. So not only do you have a backup camera, you have a proper wide angle backup camera, which is pretty cool. Again, all good stuff. Then you have the pickup bed. If I'm taking my motorcycle in the pickup bed, I want to glance at that every now and then, see if things are attached, see if things are good, or whatever else you're putting in the back here. Again, this is excellent for that. You can really see the bed as well as things around you. And of course, then you have looking straight down for hitching. Oh, why is that not working? For trailer only, excuse me, I skipped that one. That's not looking down the trailer. This one's a trailer hitch. So again, you can connect an extra camera in there. This is looking straight down at your hitch. So there's my hitch right there. As I'm hitching up, you have a straight down view, which works really well. And then of course, you have the side view trailer reverse guidance, which you can have there as well, which is again, the backup cameras on the mirrors being repurposed, digitally aimed backwards instead of down. So what this is these cameras are in the mirrors, and they can be repurposed to look straight behind you, or they can be repurposed to look straight down, which is the 360 view. So lots of good stuff in here for camera systems. I really, really like the way this is done. This is not just EV stuff, this is F-150 stuff. And again, on this pretty large screen that is a landscape instead of a portrait mode, it really is laid out well and works very well. Lots of good stuff in here. So let's have an honest talk about who this is for. You know, Ford, like I said, they towed that train with 1,000,000 pounds because they knew you were going to worry about, you know, towing with this truck. Electric vehicles have tons of torque. We know that. This thing's got all kinds of torque. It can tow things. But Ford is really playing a game with what this is. What they're hoping to do, without saying it, is they're hoping to draw in people who like trucks but don't need trucks for this. This is not an electric truck where if your time is money, it's going to work out. This is not an electric truck where if the only reason you're buying that truck is to tow your camper on those 2 weeks of vacation that you have, and the rest of the year, you're not, towing that trailer. This isn't the vehicle for you, because even though for the 50 weeks of the year that you're not towing your trailer, this would be perfect and far better than anything else you could drive, it can't do the one thing you want it to do. And that's why I say electric trucks do not exist yet. But what this is a really good first attempt at an electric truck. It allows you to do so many truck things around town, around your home, and that kind of thing. It charges fine overnight, and for the most people, it's going to charge fully overnight, even in your own garage. And you can tweak things to make it work in your own garage. I don't want to overplay that some people haven't been able to get a full charge. You can make that work. You can get it fully charged overnight in your own garage. But this is not the truck I'm ready for. I am towing with my Jeep Wrangler 4xe. It's a plug-in hybrid electric vehicle. I do all my around town driving on electric, and I bought an efficient trailer that I'll show you right here. It folds up to a tent trailer, it folds out to an A-frame trailer. It's less than 2,000 pounds. It's perfect to be towed by an electric vehicle, but even with that trailer, I'm not yet confident in this as a towing truck to buy it for myself. So here's the thing, who is this for? This is one of the best electric cars out there. It has the most versatility. It's got a massive frunk and a wide open bed. It's got great passenger compartments in here, and having a bed allows you to do so many things that you can't do in any other car and in no other electric vehicle. Rivian's out there, but even they don't have a bed like this. What's cool about what they've done is by making it dress up like a Ford F-150, it allows you to use F-150 accessories in it. I think the floor mats out of here are not EV specific. They appear to be just regular F-150 floor mats. Anything on the truck bed, that is a standard F-150 truck bed, which means all those accessories right away fit. Ford has done a great job with this. We just need to push them further. And the last thing I want to talk about is I feel like there's a divide between truck people and EV people. And as a person who has owned both and uses both, I don't think there needs to be a divide. I think truck people will adopt EVs if they can make them work for what they need their truck for. And I think we should continue to encourage these vehicles to be developed, even if they're not for us, simply because we can continue to push them. This is getting closer. This is the closest thing to an electric pickup truck out there right now. It's dressed like one, and it does a lot of things that a pickup truck should do. It's just not quite there yet. So if you're looking at this, welcome to the F-150 world. You can get an electric vehicle, an F-150. If you're regularly driving an electric vehicle and that's what you want, this has that. The only negative to this as an electric vehicle is because it is large and because it is heavy, you have to use a lot of battery and you have a little bit less efficiency, just like in a gas car, than you would on some of these electric cars, and it will take a little bit longer to charge because of that. That being said, this thing's super practical, and I think you know if this is right for you and if it's not. I'm hoping that maybe the next generation, or maybe its competitors, will be right for my use, and maybe the infrastructure will improve when the top-selling vehicle in the United States is now electric. Maybe that's something that's coming. With improved infrastructure, slightly improved charging time, this is going to be something that is workable for a whole lot more people. So I'm excited to have my first review here. If you have questions about this vehicle, I have the ability to come back to it. Maybe we need to go over the features more and more. Let's do that. Let me know what you want to know about this truck. I'll try to find out. We'll get on video. We'll keep going. And of course, if you want to see this vehicle, it's for sale here at Jim Gilbert's Wheels and Deals here in Fredericton, New Brunswick. Come check it out because it's pretty great. Thanks everybody for watching.